lot of exciting things happening over the news. I love presidential politics. I just do. That's just the thing I like the most. And I want to jump right into it with the polls from the polls that released over the weekend by YouGov and CBS News. I want to pull them up on the screen and we'll discuss them here on the show, obviously. In New Hampshire, Bernie Sanders, as you can see, is ahead of Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire is at 52% of likely Democratic primary voters. Hillary Clinton is at 30%. Joe Biden, who has not officially announced that he is going to run, is at 9%. And O'Malley, Webb, and Chafee get less than 3% combined. So that's a big shift and a big change for Bernie Sanders. And it is going to be a competitive race. There's another poll here. Let me back that picture up. We don't want to see James Blake just yet. The Iowa poll. Iowa, he was ahead by 1% according to Quinnipiac last week, but the CBS News YouGov poll has him at 43% ahead, and Clinton is at 33%. Joe Biden is at 10%, O'Malley at 5%, Chafee and Webb at 1%. So Sanders is on the move, and he's really, this is a competitive race. This is a competitive race, and anyone who thought it was going to be a coronation of anyone was highly mistaken. This will not be a coronation. Hillary Clinton will not walk into this without the fight of her life. And it looks as though Bernie Sanders and his team, they are bringing her, a fight. Now, with regard to the poll standing, here's the thing about primaries. Primaries can be easily influenced if you begin to galvanize a vote that does not normally participate in primaries. Most people wait until the general election to get involved, and then they become disillusioned because they feel like their vote doesn't count in the general election, when they have the opportunity to participate in the primaries and change the entire face of our campaign, of our election season. And that's the thing that's disingenuous and disturbing to me, are people who are complaining about the electoral process, who do not participate in the primaries. If you are disgusted with Hillary Clinton and you are disgusted with Jeb Bush, then you have the opportunity here in these primaries to get in there and make sure that Jeb Bush or Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or whichever political ideology you subscribe to, you can make sure that your candidate gets in and their candidate does not, because the primaries are generally wide open. Primaries are generally participated in by the most active party players, which tend to be the establishment players. And I want to say all this before I even get to the video, because I want to address how Bernie Sanders can take South Carolina too. The way you take South Carolina and the way you change the face of this election is by galvanizing people who normally do not vote in primaries and letting them know that this is your opportunity to actually change this election. And if you change this election, then you are changing America. Because this is a pivotal election. And I'm sure people say that every 4 years. But I want you to really understand the significance of this particular election. The significance is that we are on the decision point of status quo versus changing the paradigm. That's where we are. We are deciding whether or not we are going to keep on going in the same direction that we've been going in for the last 35 years, which has been a hard right, trickle-down economic paradigm, which has seen the gutting of the middle class, which has seen enormous unseen amounts of wealth amalgamated at the top. And we are faced with the status quo of keeping that exactly how it is. And I said this before, we have three choices before us: keeping the status quo, which is the devil we know, which would not be so terrifying if it was not so hard on the average American. And then you have the extreme right, which Donald Trump and all of his Republican counterparts represent. They want to take us even further. And I'll do in the last segment, I'm going to do Republicanomics. I'm not even naming it Reaganomics anymore. It's Republicanomics, because they have a twisted mindset with regard to economic policies that absolutely just don't work. All right, so that's that. And then you have changing in the right direction. We really wanted Barack Obama to be that change in the right direction. Barack Obama panned out to be a pretty status quo politician. Like him, love him, he's cool. I'm glad we had him. He's a great president. He's doing the best he can with what he has, but he's not a reformer. He did not change the paradigm. Bernie Sanders is the only candidate in this election so far who is significantly going to change the paradigm under which we live. So those are your three choices. And so in these primaries, it's important that you convey to the people those three choices. Do you like the way America is now? No. All right. So then you need a vote. Do you like the dream and the pipe dream that the Republicans are selling their people and trying to sell America? No. Then you need to vote. And so if you don't like the way America is now, then I don't see that it's possible for you to vote for Hillary Clinton and expect something to change. Hillary Clinton has not proven to be that dynamic progressive who is going to reverse course. If she is anything like her husband, she's going to practice triangulation, where she's going to, just like Barack Obama did, try to get as much as he can done without really changing the status quo. So if you don't like what America is right now, if you don't like the fact that you can't get a home with a $40,000 and $50,000 a year job, if you don't like the fact that your interest rates are so high on your student loans, if you don't like the fact that it is so difficult to have the American dream right now because we have stopped investing in the middle class, if you don't like that paradigm, then there is really only one direction that you can vote. And if you don't vote, then you can't complain about it, obviously. So those are the choices that are on the table. And I think if we begin to convey that to the people in South Carolina, and we start talking to the people who don't normally vote, and we start mobilizing them and letting them know that this is not the general election, the primary is your opportunity to change America, then I think we will start seeing the polls shift in Bernie Sanders' favor in South Carolina as well. And I think it's important because one of two things is going to happen. Either Bernie is going to win, which is going to be good for America, or it's going to beat Hillary Clinton to the left so much that she has no choice but to sever ties with Wall Street. She has no choice but to give back prison industrial complex money. She has no choice but to actually be a progressive, because the American electorate is saying we don't want a status quo establishment leader anymore. We need true progressivism. Now, with all that being said, I want to play a couple. Hey, thanks for watching this video, everyone. If you liked it, be sure to click the like button, subscribe, and make sure you share it with all of your friends. If you like what we're doing at the Benjamin Dixon Show and think more people should hear it, consider becoming a Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/the BPD Show, and we'll see you next time.